Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cruise Control Live. And it's a pleasure to have you all here. Happy Friday. It's a great day to go cruising. Actually, any day is a great day to go cruising. And today we're thrilled to have with us on Cruise Control Live, Matt Hochberg. Matt is the creator of the Royal Caribbean blog, and this is the go-to source for everything and anything Royal Caribbean. And today we're going to catch up with Matt on everything new and cruising in Royal Caribbean. And we'll be taking questions throughout the YouTube Live. So feel free to drop your comments below. Let's get Matt on here right away here and get him right on. Here we go. There you are. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me on here.
It's a pleasure to see you. And we've been talking about doing this for a long time. And finally, we made it happen.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk Royal Caribbean. I'm excited to talk cruising. Like you said, every day is a good day to talk cruising. So this just starts my weekend off on the right note.
There you go. Let me ask you a question. As an avid cruiser, I'm sure everyone would love to know how you got started.
Yeah, so I loved cruising like a lot of people, and I was going on the Oasis of the Seas, and this was the year that it came out, its inaugural year, and I was so excited. New ship, new type of ship, and I really wanted an outlet to be able to kind of share that excitement. And so I kind of thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of fun maybe to blog about the cruise? And I didn't intend to do anything. I didn't have this master plan. I just had this idea, wouldn't it be fun? And it
Right.
kind of organically grew, found the site, and here I am.
When was the first time you stepped foot on a Royal Caribbean ship?
It was 2006 on Explorer of the Seas. We had been cruising with Disney. We just gotten our feet wet with that. And then we lived in the Northeast.
Right?
And so we kind of thought, well, why are we going all the way down to Florida? There are cruises that go out of, the greater New York City area. And
Absolutely.
let's try Royal Caribbean. And that kind of got us like, wow, there's a lot more to this than just, the first type of cruise we ever took. So kind of got us hooked.
How many Royal Caribbean cruises have you been on to date?
I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of about, I'm going to say 60 or 70.
Oh,
I'd
wow.
have to really do the math on that. The numbers have definitely been going up the last couple of years. I've definitely doubled down. I remember when, I did 2 cruises a year, and that was exciting. So, yeah, it's quite a bit.
Oh. What was your favorite itinerary you sailed on? And one in particular stand out that you're drawn to?
Well, Bill, I'm legally obliged to say my honeymoon was my favorite cruise I ever took. Right?
Oh,
That's
there you
like
go.
that gets that was always a great one. That was a Caribbean cruise. But Alaska, honestly, was something that people talk about all the time. I know you talk about Alaska as well, about how beautiful it is, and everyone says that until you experience it yourself, you just don't have a proper appreciation for just how majestic and stunning Alaska is. So, absolutely, an Alaska cruise.
Sure. Sherry from Cruise Tips TV just joined us. She's in here. We'll take questions from anyone who wants to reach out to us. Cruisers are speculating a lot about what the icon of the seas will look like. I mean, this is going to be just something, unbelievable. What are your predictions about the vessel, and what do you expect to see on it?
Royal Caribbean's been really talking up, and by talking up, I mean not divulging any details, but certainly hyping what this is. And it's not going to be, your father's Royal Caribbean ship. It's going to be an
Right.
evolution step out there. This is not meant to be a shameless plug, but since we're talking about it, I did just post new construction photos from Finland of the ship's construction, and
Oh, wow.
still leaves a lot of questions to remain there. But I'm imagining when it comes to Royal Caribbean, they're not content with let's just rehash what we've done in a different configuration. It's not musical chairs. They're looking to make it really stand out from the crowd, and I'm sure there's going to be some really interesting features on this, because everything they've said about it in their we're not saying anything, but here's what to expect kind of talk, and the video previews, it's been like this. Just it sounds like it's going to be a real game changer, and I'm really excited to see what they've got.
And you've already booked, obviously. You've got your cabin. You're ready to go.
I as soon as they allow me to, I will. Yeah, no, they've been. It's very cloak and dagger right now, but I can't wait to book it.
Oh. Sherry from Cruise Tips TV wants to know, what's your favorite Caribbean port, Matt?
Ooh, favorite Caribbean port. Well, I mean, I love Perfect Day, Coco Key in the Bahamas. I mean, private islands are just such a great way to spend my time. I really like that. But if you're going to pick a Caribbean country to visit, San Juan, Puerto Rico is absolutely beautiful. I always enjoy going to San Juan because I love that you've got the history, the
Yeah.
culture of Puerto Rico. And then, of course, if you want something else, you want to go to the beach, they have absolutely beautiful beaches over there. So it's really hard to go wrong with San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Sure. Steve Leland, senior journalist with Porthole Cruise and Travel, wants to know, let's see here, What makes Royal Caribbean your favorite cruise line?
It's a good question. With Royal Caribbean, I feel there's so many cruise lines that are out there, right? And what I like about Royal Caribbean is I like that balance of what you pay for versus what you get. We talked a little bit about how Icon, we are anticipating it being a game changer. That sense of innovation really is a industry leader, in my opinion. And again, it's that value. There are other cruise lines that are
Sure.
cheaper out there, but you might not get as much as you get with Royal Caribbean. And by the same token, Royal Caribbean, offers a lot, but it's going to be a good family value. It just seems to hit all the right check boxes for me.
Sure. And the crew obviously is a big part of the vacation. Obviously, the human touch and the people that you meet among the crew on board. Why are the crew so special on Royal Caribbean?
That's an excellent point, Bill, and it's something that I think as people who become new cruisers and then start to cruise more, they get a better appreciation for the crew
Right.
because the crew on Royal Caribbean, they really look to make your vacation special. I mean, it
Sure.
really is important. They're not just there, here's your drink, sir, or let me turn down your room. They're really ingrained in the process of making your vacation special, and there are some real standout stars in the crew that you'll find on every ship, and I just love getting a chance to meet them. And then, Bill, it's like family reunion. You go back on another ship and you see them again, and it's like it's amazing how much attention to detail they have with their jobs, and it really stands out.
Yeah. Another big part of the cruise experience, obviously, is the entertainment. And no one does it better than Royal Caribbean, headed by Nick Weir. I mean, phenomenal shows that revel anything you'll see in Vegas or anywhere on the planet for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could spend the whole hour here talking about Nick Weir and the entertainment and the fact that they really dedicate themselves to innovation, bringing new things on there, not being content. It's not copy and paste jobs on these ships. It's interesting, and Bill, you know this as well as anybody.
Sure.
It wasn't too long ago when you got to like the second, third, fourth ship in a class, it was just the same thing. They just copied the whole thing. It was just like an assembly line, if you will. And Royal Caribbean's not content with that. Whether it is the Odyssey of the Seas, the fourth, fifth quantum class ship, or Symphony of the Seas, or Wonder of the Seas, that are they're not just a copy. They're constantly looking at ways to improve that entertainment, bring new ideas, whether it's drones, whether it's original productions, whether it's Broadway shows. I mean, it's just it's such a major factor, and it's included with the cruise fare. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a cruise director, I mean, going back many, many years ago, my first ship was Noah's Ark. And, the entertainment on there was, was like four dancers, and that was the extent of the entertainment. But now today you have these massive stages and state of the art entertainment and technology. And it's just, and when I think about technology and entertainment, I think about Royal Caribbean.
Oh, sure. I mean, they designed these ships to really be, destinations in and of themselves, and you've got to be able to deliver more than just, the same old stuff maybe you've seen on other ships or in the industry. And regardless, I love that fact that they have that sense of tradition. They want to have things people really do enjoy. There's nothing wrong with the Love and Marriage game show by
Sure.
any means. But then they also look for ways how to really push that envelope. And you mentioned Las Vegas. I think that's a really important distinction. That they're not Royal Caribbean doesn't look at the other cruise lines as their competition. They look at the land-based,
Right.
entertainment as their competition, whether it's Las Vegas, New York, London,
Sure.
wherever. That is what they're holding themselves to. That's a pretty high standard for cruise ships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is the number one tip, if you had one tip to give cruisers who are about to book their first cruise with Royal Caribbean?
I'm a really big fan of travel agents. It's you don't know what you don't know,
Sure.
and the analogy I always like to bring up is it's like being a lawyer, right? I can go to court and represent myself, but boy, do I have no idea what I'm doing over there. I don't know the ins and the outs. Travel agents, especially the good ones, really know it, and it makes such a difference because no matter how easy the cruise lines make with their app or websites or anything like that, there are still a lot of nuances that are just unique to the cruise industry. And if you're
Sure.
new to cruising, it's such an important factor to be able to use a travel agent. I think that's a big thing. But I'm gonna give you one more tip, Bill, because that's kind of like you should ancillary. It's like a 1A. But the tip though, if you're planning any Royal Caribbean cruise in general, and then at the end of the day, pricing is always a big deal, right? So you want to
Sure.
book as early as you can. That's a really big tip as well. I mean, generally speaking, over time, prices are cheaper the earlier you book. So if you're looking to book that first cruise, it's okay if you're looking for maybe this fall, but also look for perhaps next summer or even the summer afterwards because you could really get some great deals in the long run.
If you've never cruised before and you're a little reluctant about cruising in general, are there any shorter itineraries that Royal offers that could get your feet wet, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I think their itineraries, the 3 and 4 nighters that simply go to their private island of Perfect Day, Coco Key in the Bahamas, and then
Right.
Nassau as well. It's hard to go wrong with that. I mean, as a first time cruiser, you've got these amazing ships. I love that Royal has upgraded their hardware that they had there. I remember when I first started covering Royal Caribbean blog, they had the ships that were offering 3 and 4 night cruises were literally the older ships in the fleet. And
Right.
Royal said, you know what? There's a lot of people who are new to this and they want to have the latest and greatest as well. So we've now, we've evolved. First was the Voyager class, and now it's the Freedom class ships offering it. And then next year, Allure of the Seas and Oasis class ships and start offering 3 and 4 night cruises.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a great starter. And on top of that, the ship's amazing. And you're going to their private island, which is like just a home run for everybody. It's just that's a winning combination right there.
There you go. Why would you recommend families to sail on Royal Caribbean?
Oh, the value for sure, Bill. There's something for everybody. A lot of cruise lines, you can talk about maybe, certain things that they cater towards. With Royal Caribbean, they've always been, since I first started cruising and even today, about the family experience. It's not all for the kids, not all for the adults, it's not all for grandparents or anybody or the teenagers. There's something for everybody there. And that is such I think, an important factor for cruising. And then the value. You got all these amazing things you have on board to do for all different ages that I think appeal to a wide variety of guests out there. And the price for the dollar, I really think it's a fantastic value because, look, I got 2 kids. It's not cheap to take your family on vacation. There's a lot of costs that go with it. So making your money count and dollar for dollar, I will take Royal Caribbean's family opportunities and amenities over any other cruise line. I really do believe they do an excellent job with that.
There you go. We have a question here from the two Kennedy sister adventures. What upcoming ship that's scheduled to come out in the next few years are you the most excited about?
Oh, well, they've got a couple coming up, but I think Icon of the Seas,
Yeah.
it's Bill, this is more than I do. I mean, when there's a new class of cruise ship,
Yeah.
there's a special kind of magic that comes with that
Sure.
because everyone's got their eyes on it. This is now like, let's see now what the next evolution is going to look like. And in a lot of cases, sometimes a new class ushers in a new era of cruising, whether it was, the Sovereign class, the Sovereign of the Seas, or the
Yeah.
Voyager class, Voyager, Oasis
Yeah.
class, right? I mean, sometimes, I'm not saying this is necessarily going to be of that ilk, but Royal Caribbean's been playing that up. So without a doubt, Icon of the Seas is really got my attention.
Gotcha. Ryan Harris wants to know, what are your thoughts about cruising during hurricane season?
I love it. I've got, actually, we were talking right before the broadcast. I've got a cruise on Monday on Mariner, and then in September we're going on Allure of the Seas. I got to tell you, cruising during hurricane season, I know for a lot of people they're a little leery of it, and
Yeah.
I can understand why. But when you realize the realities of cruising, number one, the cruise ships are not going anywhere near these storms.
Sure.
Royal Caribbean has an amazing chief meteorologist, James Van Fleet, whose job it literally is to manage the weather for all the ships in the fleet. So he monitors all these things. If there's a storm somewhere, your ship's going somewhere else. So
Exactly.
number one, you're not going through the storms. That's like the most important thing. Number two, the value is incredible of hurricane season because we say hurricane season. It really is school season is really the nature of the beast. And because there's less demand, because a lot of families are just took summer vacation, Christmas isn't for another couple months. This is a fabulous time to get some absolutely steal of a deal prices on cruises. So the fact that, you're not going through a storm and that you get some great pricing, I think is well worth it for a hurricane season cruise.
That makes sense. Do you have a favorite Royal Caribbean ship? I know it's asking like, what is your favorite child, for example?
Well, right now, I say emphasis on right now, Wonder of the Seas really did it for me. I
There you go.
love that ship. I remember it used to be Harmony of the Seas, and then Symphony came out, and I was like, well, this is good, but I still like Harmony a little bit better. But then Wonder, I mean, they just hit me with all the bells and whistles and their latest and greatest, and it really stood out to me. It's phenomenal, and it's just there's so many great options. Like I said, it's like kids, your favorite kid, but Wonder is just it's hard to go wrong with latest and greatest, and that one just has it. It was incredible. I'm excited to go back in December.
And regardless of the size and the enormity of the vessel, I mean, there are a lot of intimate areas on board where you can feel as if it's you're on a smaller ship, for example, because everything is very well done and appointed.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. When we talk about big ships and people talk about, oh, geez, there's a ship that has 5,000, 6,000 passengers on there. Sounds like it's just this like Times Square experience that just sprawls on and on and on. But the reality is, it's not. People are doing their own things. There are opportunities to have a very, like you said, a more intimate experience, a little quieter time. So,
Sure.
yes, the ship can handle a lot of people, but that doesn't mean everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. And I think that's a credit actually to Royal Caribbean, and all the cruise lines have done a good job with their big ships of separating crowds out, giving people different things to do, so it doesn't feel that way. And
Right.
and for that reason, I just find it such a enjoyable experience, whether you want the party scene or you're looking for something a little quieter.
Yeah. You mentioned Coco Cay, obviously Royal Caribbean, stunning private island, and there's so much for guests to do while spending the day there. What do you enjoy the most about Coco Cay?
I love the choice, Bill. This is the same reason I like the big ships, right? Like the Oasis class. I like variety. Variety is the spice of life. So whether you want to go to the Oasis Lagoon pool, which is the largest freshwater pool in North America, you want to go to the beach. Well, there's like 5 different beaches you can choose from.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's a little special. Like when I'm going with my wife and we want to go and celebrate our anniversary. Well, we're going to go to the Cocoa Beach Club and have an amazing elevated experience there. It costs money, but we're going to get some filet mignon and top-notch service. Maybe we want to take the kids and they want to do the water park. I love having choice and not just being like, oh, we're doing the same thing every single time. So that really stands out to me as giving me that opportunity, depending on how I feel and budget and anything else in between. There's always something that can always, that's exactly what I want to do on this visit.
Right. Tony Diaz wants to know a little bit more about the Aqua shows on board the ship.
Yeah. So hello to Tony. The Aqua shows on board are really incredible. If we sit here and we say, if we describe the Aqua shows just like a dictionary definition, it's people that are dancing and diving, and it's like, okay, well, this sounds like a Bubsy Berkeley kind of experience there, but it's incredible. It's this open air amphitheater
Right.
that got this story being told through music, through dance, and a lot of acrobatics and the diving. When you wrap it all together, and you have to see it for yourself, it's just one of those things that you just have to experience, and you realize, wow, this is really incredible. And your mouth will be open from just like, wow, it's just, it's really stunning.
How high in the air are they diving from? Do you have any idea in terms of the height?
I don't remember the exact number, but they have there's two really high diving. They have like the medium high diving, and they have the real high diving. I know it's over 100 feet, but it's just, when they go up there, I mean, you can't help but it's everyone's like, up, and they hit the water, and it's just, talk about things that I could never do, whether I wanted to or not. Like, I mean, it's an incredible feat of human ingenuity. And on top of that, by the way, this isn't like the buffet cook who's jumping off there. I mean, these are trained professionals who have had a diving experience, whether it was collegiate, maybe even the Olympics. I mean, they have a lot. These are really the best in the world in what they do.
Yeah. That's not an activity the guests would be open to. I don't think that's something that would be offered as a short excursion.
No, I don't think the high diving stuff would be there for it. One thing they do offer, not the same ilk, but on the Quantum class ships in the Seaplex, they have a circus school in which you can try to do. The big trick there is the bar, with the thing where the trick is, forgive me, I don't know the exact term, but like when you go on the bar and you swing on the bar and try to loop your legs around it, so you can like hang from your knees. I mean, that is bring a drink and watch.
Cool.
It is really cool. Some people can do it really well, and me and probably a lot of other people cannot, but people give it a shot. So
my wife always accuses me of being a clown, so that's right up my alley there. That could be
there you go.
Tell me about, how early do you suggest cruisers to book their excursions before actually cruising?
That's a good question. Pre-pandemic, I would have probably said, you could probably wait until a couple weeks before your cruise, because things really don't sell out all that much. Right. But there have been a lot of people now who have been really gung-ho about making up for lost time. And by making up for lost time, I mean they're booking things up in advance, and prices are going up for these kinds of things. So first and foremost, if you're looking to do anything that costs extra at a private island like Coco Key or Labadee, you really want to purchase it in advance as early as you can. I would definitely recommend easily, 3 months in advance if you can, 90 days, even more than that, because they do sell out for a lot of those things. And then on top of that, some of the more exclusive excursions, especially in Alaska, my goodness, those excursions sell out so quickly. So my advice is, when it comes to any Royal Caribbean excursion, book it, lock in the price. Don't forget, with Royal Caribbean, with any shore excursion you book through them, you can cancel with no penalty at any point. So if you book it 4 months in advance, and then like a month before, you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this particular tour or whatever, you change your mind, you can cancel. There's no penalty. It's not like you're locked in with that. So something else, better to, lock it in and then be able to change your mind later, rather than have the regret, oh, I should have booked it a couple months ago when I saw it.
Yeah. And apart from the demand actually from the ship you're sailing on, these ports are generally in, several 3 or 4 other ships in with you. So the shore excursions go very quickly. So I suggest, as you mentioned, to book them in advance for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. We have a question here from Susan Lieberman. She wants to know if Royal Caribbean may bring another ship to the West Coast in the future.
I think my sense of it is the answer would be yes, provided there was enough demand for it. Navigator this season, which is sailing there, which has been wonderful. We went on Navigator out of Los Angeles this past Christmas, and it was a great cruise for the family. It got off to kind of a slower start. The reason Royal Caribbean has not been sailing out of the West Coast up until very, very recently was primarily because of essentially the price that can be commanded there is less than other markets. And certainly Navigator is doing there. And I think now it's starting to really resonate and do better market wise. But I still feel like the demand, again, I don't have any empirical data on this. This is just anecdotal, but it feels like the demand isn't quite as strong as maybe Royal Caribbean would like. Certainly not for another ship, but these kind of things take time, right, to get the word out because it's a different market on the West Coast than it is here on the East Coast, and people aren't aware that maybe even Royal Caribbean returned there because they've been gone for 10 years.
Sure,
So
sure.
hopefully, with more time and more demand, that we'll see other ships being maybe they'll put a second ship in there or even a larger ship or both.
Sure. Christian from Mexico wants to know, what Mexican ports does Royal Caribbean call on presently, and will they call on more in the future?
Yeah, it's a good question. They really do enjoy adding ports. Mexico is just a natural cruise fit,
Sure.
right? On the East Coast, you've got Cozumel, Costa Maya, Progreso. On the West Coast, in the Riviera, you've got Ensenada, Cabo San Lucas,
Sure.
Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta. So you've got a number of different options that are there, and it seems like Mexico is definitely looking to get more work in and more ships that can come there. It's just a matter of the port facilities being available. But you've got 3-4 ports on each coast that provides a lot of good choices that are in Mexico. So hopefully we'll
Sure.
see some more ports in the future as well.
Matt, there's so many fun features for guests to enjoy on Royal Caribbean ships, such as the Flow Rider and the Ultimate Abyss. How can guests ensure they're able to experience these thrills at sea while cruising?
Mm. One of my favorite tips actually is to go try these out at least on the first day of the cruise. A lot of the features are open
Good,
on
yeah.
day one, flow rider, the water slides, and there's a lot of people who don't even know they are available there, and they certainly don't have their bathing suits. So my number one tip is if you say I really want to do the flow rider, the water slides, all of them many times, the ultimate abyss, go on the first day of the cruise when people are still kind of getting their minds around the whole idea.
Sure,
Their
sure.
bathing suits are in their checked luggage they don't have yet. You'll find very few lines there on the first day. That's like number one. Number two, another good time to do it is when you get back on the ship. During port days, they're open as well. And again, a lot of people, they get back on the
Good
ship,
idea.
they're tired from the tours, they go back to the room to shower and take a nap. Just go straight to the water slides or the flow rider and do that. That can be another way to work those in without the lines, certainly. They're open on sea days, and waiting in line is not the end of the world by any means, but in an opportunity to help everybody have a shorter wait, those are the two times I definitely recommend, so that way you can enjoy them with minimal waits.
Got it. Lifewell Crew says, hi, Bill and Matt. Feeling lucky to catching you both live. Great conversations. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that very much. If you had to choose one best dining experience on Royal Caribbean, what would it
Hmm.
be?
Boy, that's a tough question. That's like picking your favorite child, Bill, more than the chips. This is a big deal. I always have been a huge fan of Izumi Hibachi. There's just something about teppanyaki dining that
Sure.
just does it for me. I love it. I think it's a fantastic product. We go there every time. The kids love it. I like it. It's satisfying and never leave hungry. So that's a wonderful option. I'm gonna add one more. It's not on the ship, but I mentioned the filet mignon at the Cocoa Beach Club at Perfect Day Cocoa Key. I'm telling you, it's the best steak I've had on any
Wow.
ship. It is ship quality food on an island, which usually you don't associate. Usually you're thinking, oh,
Yeah,
you're on an island,
exactly.
you're
On the island, especially. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But the Cocoa Beach Club, their food is chef's kiss. It is just, really, really good.
Wow. Wow. Matt, listen, this has been amazing. I really appreciate your time coming on today. And we have to do many more of these in the future as things progress with Royal Caribbean and new ships come out. Been wonderful learning about your experiences with Royal Caribbean. And please tell everybody how they can find you online.
Bill, thank you so much for having me on here. I really
Sure, you
appreciate
bet.
the opportunity. Everything you can find is at royalcaribbeanblog.com. From there, you can find all of our social media and all the other stuff that's out there, podcasts. But royalcaribbeanblog.com is where you can find it.
Gotcha. Matt, thanks again and happy cruising. Look forward to seeing you. Maybe we can cruise together on a Royal Caribbean ship in the future.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thanks. I hope everybody enjoyed tuning in today to our YouTube Live here at Cruise Control. And please subscribe and drop us some comments below. And we'll have many more lives coming up in the next week. So I'm Bill Panoff. Happy cruising. Take care. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.